getting to you, Dharmarajan, I'd like to start with one, what do you do? Right? Like this whole fancy title of CBO at Tata CLiQ, but what do you actually do?
Yeah. So here in Tata CLiQ, I'm building beauty business. Been with Tata CLiQ for last 7-8 years. Been in e-commerce space for last 12 years. Worked with some of the larger e-commerce players before I moved on to Tata CLiQ. Yeah, building beauty, which is in industry today. There are quite a few players who are super keen. Some of the macro numbers are pointing towards, as India as a country, we are expecting a significant growth in beauty consumption, and probably the right time to be in the right sector. And that's what I'm currently doing, trying to build beauty business grounds up, building online, offline services, and all of it.
Okay. So quick question from audience. Raise of hands. How many of you buy beauty products? Personal grooming, beauty. Come on, guys. I'm assuming there are more people alive and use grooming products, but great to see that. How many of you sort of have used Tata CLiQ to kind of buy products? Whoa. Good, good, good.
Not too bad.
And how many of you bought beauty products on Tata CLiQ? All right. Just so that you see, super. So coming to, I absolutely agree with you. I think we're a very hot segment and very aggressively growing. In fact, I was, so we were talking about, the Tata CLiQ beauty business, right? Can you explain a little bit about what the business looks like? What's the broad structure? We'll then get deeper into the personalization bit, but what's the business look like?
Sure, Apoorv. So Tata CLiQ, we launched our business in the year 2016. And we launched the business as the only omni-channel brand-forward marketplace. We have most of the categories that you currently shop online. And that's how we started building. We wanted to build a place for brands and brand-loving consumers. We are very selective in terms of the kind of options and selection that we'll have. What we were trying to do was to replicate your offline shopping experience, offline brand shopping experience online, and bringing it to life, staying true to all the brand proposition and whatever brand wanted to do. That's what we did, and we started scaling up and realized there was this unique space of bridge to luxury and luxury category, where at that point in time, we did not have a true large online player, and there was a phenomenal market. And coming from the house of Tata, the trust was already there. We thought there is a huge opportunity. And also some of the experiences and the learning, what consumers of Tata CLiQ were sort of talking, were saying to us was, they expect a certain type of experience which is very different from what you get to see on Tata CLiQ, which is about how do you shop, a little bit more about the stories of the brand that you are currently selling on the platform, adjacencies. If a customer is buying brand A, they wouldn't definitely want to see certain set of brands. It could be because of the brand's positioning, price points, etc. So all of this led to our strong belief that this requires a dedicated, separate line of business, and that's how we launched our Tata CLiQ Luxury. Tata CLiQ Luxury, in terms of categories, is very similar to what we offer on mall, but to a very different set of consumers, and luxury and bridge to luxury and luxury in terms of positioning. That's what we have done. We scaled up both the businesses, and at some point in time, we were sort of beating our targeted numbers. So we had these 7-year plan, 10-year plan. We have your yearly check-in. And then we realized that we can grow faster than what we were. And in that, we said, what are the different opportunity areas that we can go a little deeper and do a lot more? And in one of those sort of session and study is where we zeroed in on beauty as a category. This was about 2 years back, where all the macro numbers were pointing towards a big surge in beauty consumption in the country. India today on beauty is very high on essential categories, which is your bath and body, hair, etc. The spend contribution that comes in from skin, which is your discretionary category, skin, makeup, fragrances, contributes to not more than 25-30%. This is exactly the reverse in some of the advanced countries where skin, makeup, fragrances contributes to upwards of 60%. In fact, China, Korea and all, it's 70% plus, which talks about which tells you that there are two levels of growth. One, per capita consumption in the country, which is between 1/5 to 1/15 of some of these countries. There is a lot
Right.
of room to grow. And the second one is move from essential categories to discretionary categories. And that is probably the reason why we are seeing so many people entering into beauty as an industry to either become a beauty retail side, or we are seeing large beauty D2C brands.
Brilliant. Thank you for giving all the data points and numbers and the whole piece. I have one question around beauty is such a personalized sort of category, right? Like, for example, you, all skins are different. Everybody likes different kind of smell and fragrances. And different people have different brand affinities and, tastes and so on and so forth, right? And now you have to serve this hard personalized category. And I heard from you that you guys, by the way, just for stats, 85% of their business is app. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And it would be like not very different from some of the other players also.
Correct. No. So now, like if I had to probably buy, let's say specifically women I've seen buying cream or cosmetic, they want to try, right? So it's that trial to usage and buying, right? So personalized because it could go wrong with your skin. So how are you doing all of this online in this complicated personalized sort of category?
Yeah, first and foremost, before even getting there, why we need to do it, what we did was an outside-in study to understand little deeper in terms of what does the consumer demand for beauty buying. We did a lot of primary, secondary research. We work with some of the meta companies. We work with Google. One thing which came out very clearly and stark is beauty by design is a category where it's like a unrewarding cycle of experimentation. People don't know what works best for them. They have to try out multiple products till one fine day they say, Eureka, now I got the product I really love. This could be for skin, this could be for hair, and that's how it has been. In the offline retail, the way it is currently structured, it's very salesy in terms of how the products and brands are recommended to consumers. We thought that today, at the day and age where our ability to sort of go deeper and understand the constituents on the consumer side based on multiple attributes and also on the product side, we very strongly felt that we can personalize the product for consumers, and that's what they were asking for. They were asking for how do I know that this is the best product for me? And it is coming through various sort of surveys. Google searches for the last 3 years consistently point toward consumers are looking for personalized recommendation and suggestions for beauty as a category. And that is the pillar on which we are building our third app, which is called Tata CLiQ Palette, which is a vertical play for beauty. In this, we are taking in a lot of attributes about skin, hair, which is from the consumer side, geography, brand preferences, price preferences, and so on and so forth, based on which we are able to personalize that consumers, what product will best work for her, what range will best work for her, and also taking into a lot of preferential related sort of input. And on the other side is about attributes of the product, ingredients that goes into, and understanding what will work best. So to answer your question, the whole business model is built on personalization. And we very strongly believe that beauty as a category requires that.
Understood. So I just want to add another challenge here, right? Like with this whole personalization piece, and we were discussing about this, right? Authenticity, right? Like, hey, you know what? I today want to say that this is best for you. I have done my research, but the customer's like, why should I believe you? You're not my skin doctor, right? Right? So how do you build authenticity behind something like this? Like it's a strong message that you're trying to do.
No, it's a good question. Thankfully, it's a slightly easier problem for us to solve coming from group of Tata. So it's a intrinsic value that people have, that trust in the brand because we come from the house of Tata. It makes it a little easier. But what we're doing for beauty is we are having a very large play around content, and content with the thought process of 3, 4 different layers. First and foremost is how do you become the authority in the space? By having the right set of people talking about what is best for them and taking in all that input in building your product and your recommendation and suggestion. For example, we have created a group called Beauty Council. If somebody has the app, if you don't, please download. It's not a sales pitch. Um, on the app, what we do is we have created different sort of hierarchy of information that is passed on through very, very engaging content. And here we have tied up with strong, authentic, influential beauty specialists. It could be dermatologists, cosmetologists, makeup artists, country renowned, in certain cases even world renowned, which is at a first level establishing. Second is the whole engine itself. We have trained the models on testing out what are we recommending for what customer based on the kind of problem that customer has shared with us. And this we tested with various ways. First, external group of people who tested whether it is the right recommendation suggestion. And also we work with lot of brands, whether the output that is being recommended is in line with what they would have done. And this is from the research side. So all of that is done, and hence we are in a position to strongly call out what we are recommending is the right product for them. And this is just a start. And as you understand, some of these model over a period of time start learning and becoming better and better.
Super. So I'm going to now double click on two things. One, you mentioned personalization, right? Both from a product, both from a advice or product to customer standpoint. Yeah, you've also highlighted this omni-channel sort of an approach to things, right? Getting a little bit to the technology side of things, right? All of this sounds great, but I'm assuming there's a lot of groundwork on the back end that happens from a product data profile creation. How do you sort of handle attributes and something? So if you give me some perspective on how you handling this at a scale, some perspective, some broader perspective.
Yeah. So it's a fairly large problem for anyone to solve. If somebody wants to take this route, who has an existing product, it is not an easy path. For us, the advantage was right from day one, we knew what we were trying to build. How we went about was we work with one of the global large enterprise. We sort of roped in about 30 odd architects and started building different models through which we can build the personalization for consumers. First, we sort of found out what are the different attributes which determines what works best for a customer. We came up with about 130 plus attributes. This is based on your skin type, where do you reside, your hair type, and even sort of before doing this exercise, I didn't know that there were like 12, 13 different types of hair types. And some of this even customer doesn't know. Even if I have to ask, people will not know which exact bucket their hair belongs to. And this is very unique problem too when you go really deep and understand. What I've done is at least we have created the structure to be able to start putting in information in the relevant buckets to start with. And we will be dependent on 4 levels of data points to gather all of this. The basic is survey based, where consumer tells us what she thinks is the skin type, hair type, etc., which we believe is the lowest quality of information. because of the kind of understanding people have, including me and including everyone else, uh, unless you are an expert in that space. One level higher is what we call it as behavioral or system generated information. We are using certain AR, VR tool to analyze the skin, analyze the hair, and also some of your actual behavior. What are you browsing? What are you seeing? What are you consuming? Tells a lot more about you than what you share in survey. Higher than that is prescription diagnostic base, where a dermatologist, doctor, cosmetologist, etc. diagnose and share what you are. And the highest level is we will sort of wait for some more time to get there, which is like DNA analysis, which tells you truly what an individual is. So we are building our data structure in a fashion that we can take in input in all these four levels about all possible attributes of consumers and then map it with the product attributes, ingredients, and give the right recommendation. And not just that, this is on the product recommendation. Since beauty as a category is so important to have content as a play. Today, more than 30-35% of all beauty buying originates from content consumption. This could be people following Instagram influencers, YouTube influencers, celebrities, or whatever they get to read, learn online. And that important it is. And more than 90% of all beauty buying has at least one content touch point. All of this points to importance of content. And hence, you would also see some of the existing beauty players giving a lot of importance to content and creating those content. But the challenge today is it is left to consumers to go and consume whatever the content is. What we are doing is we are overlaying it with a personalization layer and serving the right content to the right consumers, depending on their profile, their need, their problems. So using it in both the areas.
Understood. Thank you for answering that. Connecting now this, right? Now we've understood the back end, the aspect of how you're collecting data, how you're using that data, and so on and so forth, right? Coming to personalization from a communication standpoint, right? Like, how do you communicate all of this from a seamless omni-channel experience and so on and so forth? That's one part of the question. Second, now you know a lot about the customer, right? Behaviorally, from your products, skin, this, that, and so on and so forth. There are data models on it, right? Where do you draw the line, right? The spooky bit, right? That's been mentioned there. Like you can sometimes, it's a very subtle thing, right? Like if you know too much about me and you're communicating in a certain manner, I do feel that I'm scared of how, and there's a thin line there, right? So this is my second part of the question. Where do you draw the line of sorts, right? First is the communication bit.
Yeah, no, it's an important one. And when you sort of take this route and path, it is very important for you to define top down who we are as a brand, what are the boundary conditions that within which we will sort of restrict and do. And we define it in every single part of algo building for personalization. And we have done this. Even before we start, we define it because we know that it can very easily move out. And it is done by policy, by design. But personalization per se is what consumer wants. It's not that it is spooky
Sure.
and that is the only way it needs to reach out to consumers. And they expect. For example, some of the very nuanced, simple personalization use cases, and it is slightly data driven. For example, somebody who's bought, say, a 30 ml serum, and I know that this serum is a night serum and you will use it once a day. One drop is 0.5 ml. I know exactly how many days it will last from the date I have delivered that product. I can exactly time the communication that I send to that customer and highly personalized. I can tell her that you bought so and so, which is about to get over. You bought it 14 days back. Today is 13th day. Would you want to place another order? And also at the same time, share your feedback on how did it work on your skin. It's a powerful way of doing it. And I don't think there's anything spooky in this. It is helping the customer reach her goal, but in a highly strong, personalized manner. But in all of this, you need to have a very deep understanding of the use of the product, how it works, what are the different styles, what are the different ways consumer uses, and have to connect. But you have to define it top down. You have to write down the use cases where all you can start intervening. Some association principle on if somebody is bought A, bought B, etc. It's a slightly low level problem. It can be solved. Doesn't sort of become spooky at stages, but this is how we have done it.
It's about how, it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it, right? Fair enough, fair enough. I hear you. Two, I think, last questions, keeping time check in mind as well. One is, what sort of channels, have worked for you, right? Like I'm including something like gamification aspect of things, AR, VR, we can see chat GPT and some of these sort of things, right? I don't know how much chat GPT, but I'd love to touch if you have any future plans there, on so on and so forth, right? What has worked for you traditionally for all this personalization communication to be, talk to people about?
Yeah, and a good question, and hence the importance of app-based. Our
Fair.
first and foremost is notification, which works really, really well. It's our number one channel in terms of engaging with consumers, and we try and ensure that the experience on the app is so highly differentiated that consumer love to download the app and start utilizing it. And after notification, in terms of engagement, WhatsApp works really well. But we do very sharp communication on WhatsApp. Uh,
Is the WhatsApp like a shopping experience in itself, or is it just a communication-led experience?
so WhatsApp is a channel through which we communicate, but we have internal engine which tells you what message to tell to inform the customer about what product and all the information that is required for customer to take the action. But as a channel, WhatsApp probably works for us really well. SMS works for us. Email also, to a certain base, works really, really well for us when it's a slightly larger communication. Like for example, post order communication, if we want the customer to take some action, email works really well. And also we are trying to create all of this on the app itself, which means your email experience of how you read through, we are trying to build it in app. We are creating a My page, which is fairly unique from that viewpoint. Your content, your product related content is also stored there, not just the information about what I have bought, whether it is got delivered or not. So that's how we are trying to solve it.
Absolutely. Good to see that level of personalization where even the communication and the content and history and stuff is all on the app. Last bit for me is that where do you think, this whole segment and the buying, purchase, personalization bit is headed, right? Both from a technology, both from a market standpoint, right? Where is it headed overall? What is the future sort of challenges, future sort of growth parameters? Where are we headed?
Yeah. See, personalization is here to stay, and it is going to get better, deeper, and experiences are going to get more immersive. Beauty by nature, the category, it's also sort of lays in very well for some of the latest technologies. Adoption in on AR, VR is also very high. Today, we have already sort of seeing very high traction on, say, makeup as a product for try-ons and foundation and some of those very specific beauty-related product will become even more immersive when, for example, the entire platform is personalized to an individual, which means every single product page has that customer's image. And those kind of things are definitely possible. And you will use some of those immersive technologies moving from 2D to 3D. We see happening for sure. It's just about time. How long will it take? But the expectation from consumers are very clear. They don't want to see very generic, though they love to browse and understand what is the new and hear things. They would love to get inspired, but they want to keep it as relevant as possible. They wouldn't want to see something that they have by their behavior told us that they don't like it. we wouldn't want to do it again and again. So that's how it is.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I'm going to just quickly switch over to the audience and ask one or two questions if they have. Anybody has any questions? Anybody?
Hey, hi. It was a nice session. I just wanted to ask that, when you use or when you go out to use WhatsApp, isn't it like you are, barging in the privacy of the consumer, or have they given you some sort of, confirmation on whether to reach out to them again and again with the products and offerings?
Yeah, it is 100% based on permission. So it is only after we get the permission from customer that we can interact with WhatsApp as a channel. Then we start sending out the communication, and also to do with the level and the quality of communication that you have, and the intensity and frequency with which you send. It is always with permission, and we try and personalize. Uh, Say for us, we also what we do is we have something called as customer research lab. This team keeps a tab on all the new areas, new ventures, new channel, whatever that we experiment or new way of doing, whether it is having a positive, neutral or negative impact study. And this is where we reach out to customer and check with them. And this is one-to-one. This is old school method. We don't want to assume what is good and we don't want to assume what is bad, even though we take in all the data points based on click-through rates, conversion, etc. Will tell you a picture that I'm sending 100, 10 people are converting, but that doesn't mean that balance 90 are happy with the way I'm sending it. That feedback is then flown back to both product and our process team, which helps us in terms of modifying if we are doing something which is not right. So both we keep in check.
My 2 cents, since I come from this world, is that WhatsApp has built its communication layer in a way where it is either transactional or in a way deemed transactional slash promotional. So they've kept that hygiene check on use cases, and it's given an opt-in as an option. And if you feel that you're being sent messages, I as a consumer can actually mark you as a spammer. And the moment they get too many inputs like these, their business sort of pipe will get shut. So I think the way it's created as a channel in itself is very pro customer. So if they overstep, they have a heavy chance of not being able to send communication anymore of sorts. Just want to bring that up. I hope that helps.
And it's a fairly expensive channel also.
Yeah, very fair. Any question, anybody else? Otherwise, we will close this session. Just looking for, yep, there. Someone, if can give a mic there, please. The center table, the gentleman.
Hi, good evening, sir. As a consumer, I have an option of buying a product either from, let's say, Amazon or from Tata CLiQ. The same product I can buy. But that product, that Amazon platform offers me other options also, like I can pay my bills also, I can transfer money also, I can watch the content also. So what Tata CLiQ as a platform doing for consumers like us so that we don't do a transaction on Amazon and do it on Tata CLiQ?
Yeah, no, you're right. And there is a very distinct sort of difference in proposition of both the platform. If you are fashion forward and you are a branded product buyer, you would prefer Tata CLiQ as an option. For example, if you have to go to Amazon and you were to search for, say, white shirt, you will see all ranges, all kinds of brands, all price points. If you were to do the same thing on our platform, you would be seeing only sort of selected, curated set of brands, which is what we do. And we bring the best of curated offering for you. And the adjacencies of brands, adjacencies of product, price point is in such a way that you would feel as if you are buying in an offline mall rather than provided with all kinds of option and left to the consumer in terms of choosing whatever product that you would want to buy, which is one. Second is when you buy from platform which is like a pure marketplace, wherein the sellers could be any of the 100, 150,000 sellers across the country. Not always you are sure of where the product is sourced from. whether it is directly bought from the brand in the country or somewhere else. Some of those assurances we are not very sure as a consumer. But on our platform, we only work directly with the brands and brand authorized showrooms, retail partners, etc. So it is near 100% authenticity of the product that you get. And also the way the platform is built is for your brand buying experience. You would not see, say for example, an Alan Solly shirt being sold by 15 different sellers. And you have to decide which seller to choose, at what price do I buy, how much do I pay for logistic charges, and each one has a different return policy. We take the entire cognitive load out of the consumer and we show them the latest season merchandise and we take the ownership responsibility of the product that we are showing, and it's just one option. You just do a buy now and you get that product delivered to you, and you are 100% assured that it's a brand certified and the price at which it is available in practically 100% of all the stores in the country.
Fine, thank you.
I think that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for this.
Thank you. My pleasure.